AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Murray Musso. I'm not going to let it die. We need a Murray. You're going to be our Murray.
Murray, present.
And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Tigers wrapped up day 6 of fall camp today. The Saints finished practice. They're headed to L.A. They'll have a few workouts in L.A. before the game Sunday against the Chargers. Of course, we'll be following it all along. You miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Eddie Kennison, former Tiger great, good enough to join us because, man, talking about these receivers is tantalizing, but there is one gigantic question that I have about this group, and I'm excited to get his opinion on it. Eddie, thanks for the time as always, man. How are you?
Hey, Matt, doing great, brother. Hey, man, it's pretty exciting. It's football season, man.
I know, man. To get out there and actually see real football things is actually pretty fun instead of just talking about speculation. But I'll tell you what, man, we all know what LSU has coming back. Aaron Anderson, your leading returning receiver. Chris Hilton, who you and I talked about last year. Xavier Thomas had a great season a year ago. And then you brought in Nick Anderson and Barry and Brady. You got all these guys, Eddie. When you're in that room, how do you keep everybody fed? How do you keep everybody happy in that room when you have so many targets?
Well, first of all, how you keep everyone happy is to have them understand and get all those guys on the same page, that understanding that everybody can't get the ball all the time and play selfless football. And when it is your time to shine, then it's your time to shine. And that's pretty much how you keep everybody happy, is understanding that football has to be selfless. We understand that everybody wants the ball, but there's only one. But when all of the guys can be on the same page and hope for the best of the next guy to be successful, everybody's happy.
Were you ever in a room that was that deep?
Oh, I'm going to say I was on a team, not at LSU. I mean, we had myself, Shed Wilson, Chris Hill as tight end, but the deepest I had was in Kansas City when we had like Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, Eddie Kennison, Tony Gonzalez, that group of folks. But it was also, I go back to what I just said, I think that team and that group of receivers and tight ends, we were just selfless guys, man, and it worked out for the best.
Eddie, do you think, it's interesting that the parallel you drew there was to the Chiefs team you were on, where everybody's a professional, and obviously you're trying to produce for a contract. Now you introduce the NIL rev share component of this, and these guys trying to show for the next level as well. Are you concerned at all about how that may factor into that room?
Not at all. Not at all. The things that I've heard, and the staff that Coach Kelly and LSU football has brought in to help these young guys, get a better understanding of the NIL and the rev share. And I think our NIL department is doing a pretty fantastic job with laying out, what this looks like for them, what it looks like for LSU. And I've had the opportunity to get to know a couple of those guys, a couple of receivers that are there, Chris Hilton being one of them. And his leadership, those guys, they will get it, they will understand, and it helps them to get ready for the next level, and potentially the NFL. And if it's not the NFL, it gets them geared and prepared for money management and finance management in the life after football, whether it's in business or them being entrepreneurs or working for someone and having a family and being able to budget that. So I think LSU is doing a pretty fantastic job with setting those guys up for success.
Eddie Kennison is our guest. Eddie, why is Cortez Hankton so good at what he does?
Because he's played the game, brother. He's been in it a long time. And his love for what he does, it just carries over into the receivers and the players that he's coaching. He's seen it, he's done it, he's lived it, and he's been doing it for a long time. And even better than that, he's a phenomenal human being. You see him with his wife and his kids and how he treats them, and he carries that same enthusiasm and love and passion for the game into the receiver's room. And I know the guys in that room, they see it, they feel it, and they want to be successful because Cortez is so passionate and he's so giving and loving to those guys in his room.
That's very evident. The players love him and love to play for him, that position group. Eddie Kennison's our guest, former Tiger great. We talked last year, and I asked you, who you thought could be poised for a breakout year, and you said Chris Hilton. And but for the injury, I probably would have been. I mean, he showed what he was capable of in those last 3 games where he went off when he was finally healthy. So I ask you a similar question. What do you think is a realistic expectation for Chris this year, provided he stays healthy?
Brother, I think he has the capability to outperform any wide receiver in the collegiate ranks right now. I believe that last year, and I believe that true to be this year. I tell you, Matt, I've prayed for Chris, for him to be healthy so we all could see the talent that Chris Hilton has. I've seen it when he was a freshman, when I was on staff there, and I just hope and pray, and I've been asking God for him to be healthy so we can all see what I've seen, what I believe that he could put on the football field, and I believe he will achieve, if he stays healthy, the highest honors in collegiate football at the wide receiver position.
Eddie, we know Chris has the great speed. Right, I mean, we see it, his ability to stretch the field. What else has made him a problem, right? A great wide receiver. What else is there?
Well, I think what's there is the chip that's on his shoulder for him wanting to play and play a full season and play, for the Tigers in an entire season. So he has for himself, something to prove, and there's no greater weapon in a football player, and in particular a wide receiver, than to prove something to himself, to get out and compete and ball out, as they would say, man. And that's what he has. He has that extra chip because he hasn't been able to perform at the level or every game or every season like he wanted to. So, man, that chip, that's his extra weapon right there.
Yeah. So when I asked you last year, a guy who you thought would have a big year, you said Chris Hilton. Let me ask you that same question again and ask you, other than Chris, is there someone you're excited to see this year who you think may be able to take that next step?
Oh, man. Gosh. To be honest, because I haven't seen like a lot of practice, I haven't seen a lot of film, I haven't watched a whole lot. I know our young guy Anderson, who had, a really, really good season last year. We'd love to, see him have another kind of season like last year, even better. And with that being said, if he does have another season like he had last year, and if Chris stays healthy, brother, I tell you what, it could be pretty dominating for our wide receivers group.
Yeah. That is a deep and talented and scary group, Eddie. I mean, you go out there and you see like Nick Anderson, the kid from Oklahoma who's 6'4" and can fly, and Barian Brown from Kentucky who just stretches the field, nobody can guard. It's like, are those the fourth and fifth best guys on this team? I mean, it is an embarrassment of riches right now in that receiver room. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. You have Nuss keep spinning the pill. Eddie Kennison, former Tiger great man. It's always great to hear your voice. It's great to chat. We appreciate you for making a few minutes for us today.
Hey, Matt, anytime, brother. I love you, man, and continue doing great work and representing our Tigers in the most positive way that you do, man. So I'm proud of you, and thank you for representing the Tigers.
Thanks, Eddie. We'll talk soon, man.
Okay.
That is Eddie Kennison, former Tiger great. Always love to get a few minutes with Eddie here on the show. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor. Say it often, but Louisiana is the mold capital of the world. It's wet and it's humid. It's a breeding ground for mold. Sometimes you can look up by your air vent, and if you see like little black specks, chances are that's black mold. You could have mold in your walls and you don't even know it. You know, if you've got water spots on your ceiling or your walls, that water didn't just show up, right? It's been there, and then it started to accumulate, and then you see the water spots start to formulate, so that means you probably got mold as well. Great way to knock it out, Parish Restoration. It's a patented, non-toxic dry fog. Patented means nobody else is using it. Non-toxic, meaning it's safe. It's safe for your plants and your pets and your family. You don't have to worry about what chemicals they're spraying in your home. It's safe. It's non-toxic. And it's a dry fog. So just think about that. Dry fog as opposed to a wet fog, meaning you're not pulling up carpet, you're not cutting sheetrock, it's not going to damage your furniture. It's safe, it's effective, it's efficient, it's cost-effective. It's Parish Restoration. Your home, office building, your vehicle, all the way up to the largest commercial building in the state of Louisiana. They can help you out at Parish Restoration. Give them a call or go to the website to fill out that form on the homepage to get an estimate. ParishRestoration.com, ParishRestoration.com. Appreciate Eddie Kennison for a few minutes here. I really do think about that. And whenever we're out there watching practice, it is such – you're going to see this. Like whenever you have the opportunity to watch LSU for the first time, and maybe you're fortunate enough to get out to a practice, maybe you watch some practice video, maybe it's when they play Clemson. Whenever you see them for the first time, you're going to see what I and others are describing. It is such a free-flowing personnel rotation. Like the ones go out there and they run a rep, and then a new wave of receivers come in, or a new wave of DBs come in, or defensive ends. Like it's just, they're so deep and they're so talented. The onus is just on this coaching staff to figure out how to maximize all of this talent that they have. And if they do that, this could be a really special season because they aren't weak anywhere. And I know we're talking about the offensive line having their struggles, but I'm telling you, not guessing, I'm telling you, there is a ton of talent in that offensive line room. You just got to get 5 to play as 1. And if they figure that out, they're going to be really good, man. But I'm going to be fascinated to see how Joe Sloan distributes the football because you have so much talent on that side of the ball, and there's only one ball. So how do you get everyone involved? It's going to be really fascinating to watch that this year. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on Tuesday, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Tractors, zero-turn mowers, gators, they got it all at Sunshine. Newest location coming on Pico in Baton Rouge as well. You can see where they're building the exit on I-10 to Pico. They broke ground last month on that new John Deere location, Sunshine John Deere on Pico. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. All right, y'all. It is After Further Review. Man, we have just flown through the show today. If you want to get a question in, email us, tweet us, text us. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Been getting some questions in on the text line about just things that maybe you have questions about the team. Feel free to fire away. We'll continue. And also, maybe another not so great sign for the New Orleans Saints from a win-loss perspective coming up in 2025. We'll get to that as well as we continue here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you are thinking about building a pool, make sure you give our friends over at Duplessis Builders a shout. You see, when it comes to Duplessis Builders, I can give you so many different forms of validation. Like, first of all, you can take my word for it. It's one of the reasons they pay me to endorse them, is you deem me to be a credible person, so I say Duplessis is a good company, and hopefully you'll give them a chance to earn your business. That's number one. And then you have third-party validation, like Pool & Spa Magazine, who just came out with their list of the top 50 pool companies in America, and Duplessis Builders was number 26 on that list. In America, not in Louisiana, in America. That's validation. And then you see it in the Google reviews, and you see it in the fact that they offer a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year. Why? Because Derek knows they're building you a quality product, and so he'll stand behind that product. DuplessisBuilders.net. DuplessisBuilders.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up the land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy. Well, she ain't into cars or
Well, I got another one.
What you got? Another what?
Another story about the Saints stinking.
Again?
Well, that's what they are, Muse. Excuse me. It's what they are, Murray.
Murray, present.
So stupid.
So? Of course it is.
Oh, man.
I didn't say it was like the greatest radio thing ever.
Yeah. That's true. You didn't.
I never said that.
You did not.
I didn't say to you, know what's going to be awesome, Muse? I'm going to change your name to Murray so we can play the Murray drop and everybody's going to love it. Radio. Put him in the Hall of Fame. I didn't say that. I didn't sing that song.
I mean, you just did, but not in the moment.
Not in the moment. I didn't do that.
Not in the moment you didn't. No.
One of the things I've been consistent about this offseason is pointing out, I did this last year with Derek Carr, last 2 years with Derek Carr. Every quarterback ranking, every tier list, every PFF this or that, every front office personnel, anonymous coach. We talked about all of them. When they would talk about Derek Carr, they all had him in a, I would say lower middle tier, upper bottom tier. He was a 20s quarterback in the NFL. He was a starter. He was an NFL starter, but everyone who sort of expected him to be something after a decade in the NFL, which we had a large enough sample size to show what he was, like, it's why it wasn't that I was just dogpiling on Derek Carr. I was just trying to lay out the very clear evidence from everybody outside of just blindly loyal fans telling you what this guy is. And so it's a similar thing here when we talk about the Saints. Like the Super Bowl odds right now for every team at DraftKings, the Bills, do you realize the Bills have the best odds to win the Super Bowl? They're at plus 600.
I did not realize that, actually. Okay, wow.
The Bills and the Ravens both are at plus 600. The Eagles at plus 700. The Chiefs at 850. Lions at plus 1100. Commanders plus 1800. Anyway, dead last. Worst odds. The worst odds. Your New Orleans Saints plus 40,000. Plus 40,000. The New Orleans Saints have the worst odds of all 32 teams in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. ESPN came up with their list. They ranked every roster, 1 to 32. New Orleans Saints were dead last. By the way, right now at DraftKings, the team garnering the most action to win the fewest games, your New Orleans Saints. The Browns and the Saints have equal odds to finish with the worst record in the NFL, plus 400. But the Saints are getting 46% of the bets and 52% of the handle. That means 52% of the money is coming on the Saints to have the worst record in the NFL. The Browns have just 12% of the bets and 13% of the handle. there's still a contingent, and I want to be clear, like I'm not, it's August the 5th, and the Saints are about to play their first preseason game. And people are excited because the season's almost here. We're a little more than a month away from watching the Saints and the Cardinals in the Dome. They're going to put on actual uniforms, even if they're those hideous black helmets and those gaudy gold jerseys and the stupidity they keep doing because they can't get an alternate uniform right. They're going to play real football, and you should be excited about it anytime you have the opportunity to watch your team play. The thing that I am trying to illustrate in doing this is just managing a realistic expectation. I'm promising you this. I promise you. Murray, mark the tape, okay, Murray?
Murray, present.
I want you to mark the tape. You got your pen?
Got the pen.
All right. What are you marking? Like, what are you actually writing down?
I was going to write down the date and the time that you said whatever you're about to say.
I am not going to yell and scream about a Saints result this year. Okay? It's my promise to you. Now, Kellen Moore does some dumb-ish. I might yell about him doing some dumb-ish. Okay, is that fair?
That's fair.
Like a specific decision or something like that. But my expectations for this team as far as a win-loss record are nil. Like they are not winning the division. They are not going to the playoffs. I think their ceiling, I mean, everything breaks their way. I think their ceiling is 7. Ceiling. They're probably a 4 or 5 win team. By the way, I picked them last year 5-12. They went 5-12. Nailed the number. I just look at this team as what they are. But my hope for this Saints season, like I honestly believe, despite the fact that they're not going to be good, I think I'm going to enjoy this Saints season more than any season since 2018. The bike life, the number 1 seed NFC Championship game, until the Nola no call. You want to know why?
Yeah, I do want to know why, actually.
That season was so much fun, right? Teddy Bridgewater, the locker room post-game parties, the bike life, the number 1 seed. Such a fun year. Such a fun team, Choppa style, everything. Nola no call happened, and it was atrocious. But after Nola no call, we all knew the clock was ticking on Drew Brees' career. And every Sunday for me and a lot of Saints fans, there was so much angst wrapped into every game because you knew the clock was ticking on this era with Brees. Like every year could have been his last year in the league, and they were chasing one more title under him. And so when you got Nola no called and it was brutal, then you went into 2019 and then you lose to the Vikings with the Kyle Rudolph push off. And then you go into 2020, which ends up being Drew's last season, and you beat the Bears, and then you have the hideous loss to Tampa Bay, a team you had already beaten twice. It was just, there was so much angst. It was hard to enjoy it. Does that make sense? It was hard to enjoy the wins. It felt more like an exhalation because you were just trying to get to the top of the mountain one more time with Drew, and you were all in to do it. And you didn't get there, and that sucked. And since then, you've had a general manager who, in my opinion, has made errant decisions in continuing to try to chase a title when that window closed. Turns out I was right and Gumsmack and Mick was wrong. But Grandma Gail has continued to make sure that Gumsmack and Mick has been gainfully employed, despite the fact that he's ran the organization right into the ground where they are right now. But despite his best efforts to not enter a full-on rebuild, that's where you are. And I'm okay with that. It's where I think they should have been 2 years ago instead of signing Derek Carr. I was okay trying it with Jameis. At that point, you should have moved on. Anyway, I am excited about this season because this is the opportunity to see if you can lay the foundation for what the next contender will be. You drafted 9 players. You've got 2 good young offensive tackles. Like, we may look at what Sean Payton does in Denver this year and have a little bit of angst, right? I mean, that's it'll be a little bit of longing. I mean, if he found his quarterback and they're in the playoffs again and they're making a push toward a potential championship, maybe they're challenging the Chiefs in that division. But do you remember what picks, like what the Saints turned the picks from the Peyton trade, what players they turned those picks into? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
So remember, they got the Sean Payton trade with Denver. They drafted Brian Brzee, and then they used the second-round pick to move up to get Kool-Aid McKinstry. So, I want to see if Brian Brzee's ready to be a legit starter in the NFL. We haven't talked a lick about him in this camp. Is Kool-Aid McKinstry ready to be a legit number one corner? What about at safety? You drafted Jonas Sanker. Can he be a guy for you? Is Alontae Taylor going to be a starter? Is Danny Stutzman the heir apparent to Demario Davis? Those are exciting things. It's a reframed conversation. It's a different conversation than, what's the 53rd guy to make the roster, because that could be the little bitty marginal difference that helps you win a championship. We're not having that conversation. It's just a completely new convo about, are you laying the foundation with starting caliber players that you drafted that can build a foundation upon which then you can go draft other players and add, as you reset your cap, add key veterans via free agency to see if you can go win a championship. That's exciting. The rebuild is exciting, building towards something new. The result this year isn't going to be fun, losing a whole bunch of games, but learning what you have in these young players is exciting. And that's just how I'm looking forward to this season. And I would advise you to do the same. Because if you go into every Sunday that the Saints play expecting them to win, because, by the way, ever since 2006, I guess we could probably say 2009, because 7 and 8 weren't very good years. But ever since 2009, every Sunday we expected the New Orleans Saints to win. Not to say that was realistic that they were going to win, but every time you sat down and watched the team play, you expected they were going to win the game. Certainly thought they could win the game. That's not the case at all this year. They're going to lose a ton. They're going to lose way more than they win. And I'm okay with it. Not that I'm okay losing, but I understand this year isn't about the win-loss record. This is about building the foundation for your future. And I'm actually looking forward to that. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. Maybe you have a foundation, but on top of that foundation, on top of that structure upon which the foundation is built, there must be a roof. That was a very clumsy transition. I was trying to transition and talk about roofs, foundations, and segue. I probably missed the mark. What never misses the mark, however, is Parish Construction and Roofing. We'd love to help you out. Commercial or residential, roof repairs, replacements. There was an awful hail event about 1 week ago. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. Awful hail event. A lot of Baton Rouge lost power. If it was Wednesday. If you had hail, you probably had damage that you can't see from the ground. So what you need to do is get a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Let us come, get on the roof. It's totally free. You don't even need to be home. It's just permission to walk it, mark it, chalk it. We'll give you pictures, full report of everything. So that way, even if there's nothing wrong with your roof, awesome. The next time a storm comes, and if you do have damage and you have to file a claim, you can show your insurance company, hey, look, this was the inspection report we had done on August the 5th, which showed, look at these pictures very clearly, this is new damage, which is relatable to that storm. Anyway, let us help you out. We've got insurance professionals on staff. It's Parish Construction Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Go to the website, fill out the form on the homepage, do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks in about 15 minutes from right now. We're looking forward to that. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. I got a question from... let's see. I got a question from Andy about the offensive line, a question from Andrew about the defensive line. We'll get to those when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Whoo, boy, 95 degrees at 5:33 in the afternoon. That is no bueno, friends. You know what's even worse? If you get home and your AC is out. Do not let that happen. Well, there's not much you can do to prevent that if your AC is going to go out. But what you don't want to do is sleep in a hot house. And with River City's 1 hour air, you never will. That's because nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town because your friends and neighbors do what I do. They trust River City's 1 Hour Air to get the job done right, in a timely manner, at the right price. And they're never going to pressure you. They're going to lay out your options. They'll give you a good, better, and best option. And you decide what you want to do based on your budget and how you want to manage your system. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Call them today. 752-0001.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Sexy, it really turns her on. She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along. She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up her land. She's even kind of crazy.
If you look carefully, where a lot of the pressures were from inside out, not outside in. And that's a great thing, right? When you have guys that are creating issues from the inside out of the pocket instead of just rushing off the edge, where you can get a hand on them and widen it and step up. Where we're getting our best success is inside out. And so, Gooden, Guillory, Butler played some inside. Gabe can play a little bit inside. We can be very dynamic from an inside-out perspective as well. Obviously McKinley's big and long. So when you add that to, what we think is 4 guys that can play off the edge, you got a pretty dynamic pass rush now.
Okay. Brian Kelly, I wanted to lead with that soundbite from Brian Kelly about the LSU pass rush inside out, because I got a question on the text line from Andrew Cromwell. And this is all because today, on Tuesday, in the 11-on-11 period when they did a scrimmage, the defensive front really overwhelmed the LSU offensive line. Just, again, very quickly, in case if you missed the full practice report earlier when we went through it, in 11-on-11, you had a Bernard Gooden had a TFL for a loss of 2 yards. There was a sack. Forgive me, I missed the number on that one. Pyburn had a sack. Don McKinley had a TFL for a 2-yard loss. These were all in the ones, by the way. Tylen Singleton with the 2s had a sack. The ones went back on the field. Pyburn had a TFL for a loss of 5 yards. All that to say, the defensive front was overwhelming today. And so a lot of people are looking at that, and rightfully so, going, should we be really concerned about the offense? But I want to read this question because I want to draw an important illustration of why I feel the way I do. Andrew said, Matt, is the defensive line success so far more representative of their skill or the O-line's lack of experience? Given Clemson already has a better D-line than what our first offensive line sees in practice, will Sloan plan to get the ball out quick because of this? Okay, what I would like to address is the part where he says Clemson has a better D-line than what the LSU O-line sees in practice. Hold on. This is the part where I need you to pay attention. Please, not going to give you a ton of numbers, just please pay attention to me. Because the biggest takeaway that I have so far looking at this matchup is how deep and talented LSU's defensive line is. The guys they paid a buttload of money to come in to make them better are making them better. Patrick Payton, Jamari Butler, Jack Pyburn, Bernard Gooden, in addition to Dominic McKinley, Ahmad Bro, Gabe Relaford. Let me just give you an illustration. The 2 best defensive linemen for Clemson that are returning are Peter Woods and TJ Parker. Woods is an interior player. Parker plays outside. Peter Woods has played in 23 games. He's got 3 sacks and 11 TFLs. Parker has played in 27 games. Really good player. 16 and a half sacks, 32 TFLs. They brought in Will Helt from Purdue. He was one of the big defensive ends out of Purdue. Everybody wanted him. LSU wanted him. Will Helt at Purdue had 5 sacks and 10 TFLs. Okay? I say all that as an illustration. Remember I told you about TJ Parker, really good player at Clemson, 16 and a half sacks, 32 TFLs during his career? Patrick Payton has 16 sacks, 31 and a half TFLs. They've got the same level of productivity. Patrick Payton's running with the 2s at LSU right now. Jamari Butler, sixth-year player. Jamari Butler's played in 37 career games. 7.5 sacks, 17 TFLs. That's more than Will Helt's got. More than Peter Woods got. That's before we even talk about Relaford and Gooden and Pyburn. Like, the point being, I don't know that Clemson has a better defensive line than LSU. Yo, maybe you're sitting there going, that's gigantic homer talk. Or maybe this is the reason LSU went and spent a buttload of money on all of these guys, because they've all played 20, 30 games and are really proven pass rushers, because LSU struggled outside of Swinson last year to generate a pass rush. Part of that was Perkins' injury, and they had relied so much on him, but they certainly had no interior pass rush. Bernard Gooden's going to fix that. Promise you that. And you got Perkins back. And you got Butler and Pyburn and Peyton and Relaford. Like, I don't know that Clemson's defensive line is that much better than LSU's. I get a year ago LSU wasn't very good. I get it. But the whole point in going into the transfer portal and buying this roster was to be much better. And they're much better. Now, the flip side, he said, was against LSU's inexperienced offensive line. They're not an inexperienced offensive line. They're just inexperienced together. Braylon Moore is a 2-year starter at Virginia Tech. Josh Thompson's a multi-year starter at Northwestern in the Big Ten. DJ Chester started all 13 games for LSU a season ago. Paul Mabenga started 5 games for LSU a year ago. They've got experience, and they got talent. They just don't have experience together. Now, going to Clemson, week 1 is a massive challenge. I wish they had 2 layups before they had to go play that game. Like A&M's going to play 2 breathers before they go play in South Bend. I wish LSU would schedule that way. They didn't. They're going to go play week 1 at Clemson. That sucks. But this offensive line, I can't say definitively that what they're going to face at Clemson talent-wise is light years better than what they're facing at LSU right now. It's why you went and bought this roster. Because they're all really good players and have proven to be really good players during their college careers. Not going to overreact to one practice. If anything, I would say your reaction should be, damn, they got some dudes on that defensive front. And y'all, they got some dudes on that defensive front. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all, do it better than anyone. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Give them a buzz, y'all. 288-8138, 288-8138, 288-8138. Or go to ReliefWindows.com, ReliefWindows.com. Give Brandon Holly and the gang a call. You want to set up a consultation? Go see one of their associates at their showroom. Showroom is gorgeous. It's on Airline Highway in Prairieville. If you're going south on Airline, you cross 42. It's about a quarter mile on the right. Can't miss it. Big, beautiful showroom. Actually, the same contractor that designed the renovated LSU football ops did the Relief Windows showroom. You'll see a lot of the similarities, but it's gorgeous. They'll treat you right. They measure twice. They install once. Every window custom made for your home, expertly installed. Fantastic customer service department. They have an entire service department, which is why they can get to you more quickly, which is why you're going to have a better customer service experience. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. They'll never be the cheapest. They'll never be the cheapest, but they'll always be the best. The best quality, the best customer service, the best everything. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. If you missed Shea Dixon in Hour 1, talking some Cruton, Fletcher Mackel was talking Saints in Hour 2. We had Eddie Kennison with us here earlier this hour. You can catch it all on demand, AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. 1 segment left to go. We'll do a little Otter Locks, find out what we're betting on tonight. Jimmy's here next to wrap it up on AFR.
AFR.
Yo, if you're a business owner, and I tell you every day, if you're trying to find the right people, Glow Resources can help. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. You know, the hiring market for so many is so bad right now, which means a lot of businesses are looking for help in hiring. And when you work with Glow Resources is a permanent solution. They do not lose customers. At Glow Resources, they pride themselves on taking the headache out. You are selecting from a pre-qualified batch. If you are tired of experimenting, stop going the cheapest route. Stop wasting money on training and all the effort. Do it right the first time. Long term, that will be a cost-saving solution. That's why you need Glow Resources. They score themselves on how long their employees stay with their customers. And they take everything. They take care of everything involved. It's GLO, glowresources.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Big shout out to our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Visit sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. All right, one thing left to do is find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing great, Matthew. How about you?
Man, I couldn't be any better if I tried. Best day in the history of mankind. Fired up.
There you go. What makes it the best day? Well, I'm curious.
I woke up this morning, my feet hit the ground, got air in my lungs, got to go watch a little football today. Better make it the best day ever. Let's do it. Hot
yes,
damn.
indeed.
And we get to polish off the night with some winners, baby. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's go, Otter!
Let's go. All right, let's start with the A's. On the road tonight, but that young lineup's been producing a little bit. Severino is hot. I believe this one is underway. No score in the first inning, but we're going to go with the A's plus a little money in that one.
Okay.
It's going to continue with the hottest team in baseball, the best record in baseball, Milwaukee Brewers. They got their opening day starter on the hill today, Peralta, against down the line pitching for Atlanta. Wins. Boy, Atlanta is just doing everything wrong. The two teams, talk about one of the biggest overachievers and one of the biggest underachievers this year. The Brewers and the Braves, they're making kind of getting back at them for stealing their team from Milwaukee way back in the day. But anyway, taking the Brewers and Peralta minus about 35-40. Is it now?
I'm looking. Sorry. My app is just loading slowly, but go ahead. I'll keep looking.
Okay. Going to continue fading the Yankees. Going to take the Texas Rangers, and this is not just a fade on the Yankees. Obviously, they lost a tough one, but Evaldi is the real story here. He does not qualify for the ERA stat just yet, but he will, and he is a big cushion built up as the best ERA in the American League. So against the struggling Yankees, I'm sure you paid attention. How poorly fundamental are they on the bases and the field? And we saw it on display in the World Series last year when they were eliminated, blowing that league. We're going to take the Rangers to continue with the Baldy and
by the way,
against the Yankees.
Brewers are minus $1.44 right now at DraftKings.
Okay. And then we're going to lay a run with the Dodgers, -1. Again, DraftKings over at the Queen. They'll allow you to just lay 1 instead of 1.5, which you don't want to do as a home team. This is more of a fade of Michaelis as well. The Cardinals fans are not real happy with him. Once upon a time this season, the Cardinals were in contention. That's long gone now. So the Dodgers -1, laying a little bit of a number right there. And if you don't want to just lay that big number, you want to tie it up with something, do the same thing with the Red Sox here. Ocean Springs, Mississippi product. That's right. Austin Crochet, he's on the hill. They're hot. They've won 7 in a row. Lay the 1 run and the line, I think about 75. It might be higher at DraftKings.
Okay.
But if you could put them together if you don't want to lay that much juice.
Yeah, the Red Sox on the money line are 2.5. I'm looking at 1.5. It's -110. I'm trying to find the number, but
you got to go to game lines.
Yep. Game lines. If it lets me, there we go. Alternate. The Red Sox are minus $1.80.
There you go. -1 to -$1.80.
Yep.
So you might want to put that one, and you can see how it's going because that's an early start and then late start on the West Coast. So you can kind of play with it if you get to the first half in. But you just got to take these Red Sox. They're hitting the ball, and Crochet is dynamite.
All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
We're at the original Walk-Ons on Burbank in the shadows of Tiger Stadium.
Awesome, man. Good luck tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow. All the picks are up at LouisianaSports.net if you missed any of them. Thank you, Otter.
Good luck.
All right, man. Same to you. All right, we'll do it for us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. You can book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org, and get anything. Just search AFR LSU or AFR Saints on either YouTube or your favorite podcast app. You'll see all the content for you right there. All right, no LSU media availability tomorrow. The Saints are heading out to L.A. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review,